Porzingod has got a nice block.
We are the New York Knicks. I'm back. Back in the New York. Well, it's the Knicks. New York. We are the New York Knicks. New Yorkers. For this new season we're about to enter, the Knicks is taking no shorts just like winter. New York, New York.
New York be about the Knicks, huh?
But the best thing about New York City is K-N-I-C-K.
Everybody say go New York, go New York, go!
Hey everybody, welcome to the New York Knicks podcast, episode 400, spectacular!
Spectacular! You know what's spectacular about... You know what makes this episode spectacular?
What?
Jay, you know what makes this episode... Is that I finally do a podcast for a team that's actually good.
I know, it's, I don't think we really know what this is like.
I mean, I'm not saying good like competing for the finals. I'm just saying good developing young team that I'm not embarrassed about and that people should take notice of.
Right, it's like, hey, we're doing a podcast of a team we're not embarrassed of.
Yeah, I mean, like, I think before and during preseason, Jay and I were looking at each other going, why do we still do this show? It's going to be 5 years before we're not a complete joke. But it turns out it's not 5 years, it's like 5 games.
We should also say we're part of the Almighty Baller podcast network, almightyballer.com. There is a show for every team. There is fantasy shows. There is general NBA shows. There is a ton of shows there.
And fantasy basketball, not like your like S&M type stuff.
Right.
Okay, just in case people are confused, I want to point that out. So speaking of people that are taking notice of the Knicks, my 6-year-old son is taking notice of the Knicks. He is starting to get into it. He's like last weekend watched like a Knicks game with me, and now he's excited about it to the point where my wife got him a Porzingod T-shirt. Mm-hmm. He was jumping up and down literally with excitement.
Wow.
He told he was telling people like this. He's like this is Knicks. This is my dad's favorite team. Like just telling people like he was so excited that he was wearing a Knicks shirt with Porzingod on it.
Nice.
And we watched the first quarter tonight's game, and he made an astute observation. You want to hear it?
Sure.
The Pacers, one of the guys on the team was shooting a 3-pointer and was wide open. And he said, "Daddy, why is no one covering him?" And I said, "Well, that's the Knicks."
I wanted to read you a couple stat lines here.
Yeah, but anyway, so it's pretty cool that he's getting into it, and the Knicks are. This is a team that can get him. He also thinks the team is undefeated. He doesn't understand they've lost a game yet. Go on.
You're setting this kid up for a huge disappointment, by the way.
He's 6. I can tell him they won the title.
So check this out.
Yeah.
29 points, 7 threes. 20 points, 4 threes. 22 points, 6 threes. 22 points, 5 threes. Who am I?
You're fake news. Are you kidding me? Are you really doing this? You're taunting me with your, Robert Covington's so good. He put us. He's
taunted
still
me
crap.
For 2 hours during the fantasy podcast. I am going to announce every time he scores over 20 and has multiple threes for the rest of the season.
For those that didn't listen to the fantasy podcast, Jay, in an auction draft, bid high on Robert Covington. I called him a moron and spent the next 2 hours just berating him about this. And apparently, Jay is now taking that personally and wants to point out the fact that Covington's playing well.
You have been getting a lot of messages. It seems like he's having a good game almost every night.
Well, I have to say, I'm going to say like Donald Trump, this is fake news. This is not true. I think these box scores you're reading aren't the real story. I get the real news. Fox News gives me the box scores. And the box scores I'm reading, Robert Covington's a complete disaster.
I just can I tell you how much I love right before bed? I check the box score and then just send it to you. It's like my new ritual. Let me send Mark in.
Okay. So let's move on to the Knicks. They played 4 games this week, or they beat last show. They were playing the Cavaliers during the show. We're not going to cover that game because they beat them, and that was during the show, right?
Right.
The game ended after the show was over, but I think we're not going to cover that. But then they played the Nuggets, they played the Rockets, the Suns, and right now they are not playing that well against the Pacers.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
we're recording. It's halftime of the Pacer game.
so I guess we should just go in order.
Yeah, let's start in order. Just talk briefly about the games. The Nugget game. I have to say, I thought this game. I watched beginning to the end. I waited till my kids went to sleep, and I DVR'd it. Started watching beginning to the end. This was an exciting game to watch.
It was good. Yeah, the Porzingis' career high.
Yeah, 38 points.
Not only that, 38 points on 26 shots. Like, efficient.
I don't understand. I only watch Melo play. I don't understand what you mean by efficiency.
Melo was something like 3 for 17 last game.
Oh man, the Knicks look pretty good against the Nuggets. The Nuggets came into the game like one of the best offense in the NBA.
Well, I mean, they still scored 110.
Yes, they still scored 110. But the Knicks look pretty darn good. This game started off. I think this is the one where it started off slow, and then the Knicks kind of just like. I think they put in the second unit. The second unit started playing well, and they went to overdrive from there.
Yeah, it was almost the opposite of what we've seen in the last couple of years because the second unit did well, and then we put the starters back in, and the starters continued that momentum instead of letting up the lead again.
This was also the game. So the Knicks were playing well. Now remember, the Knicks they first unit they pulled the first unit. And then Clyde was like, you can't. He said something like, when they're playing well, you can't just take the people out when they're playing well, which was a weird comment to make because it was 2 minutes left in the first quarter. You can't also play your starters the entire game. At some point, you're gonna have to like put the subs in.
Yeah.
This game, but the Knicks were up by a ton until the third quarter.
The Knicks were up by 22 at the half, I believe.
Yeah,
and within, I think, 9 minutes in the third quarter, they had 12 turnovers, blew the entire lead, went down. What the hell was that? Luckily, that was an aberration because we haven't seen anything like that all season. But that was weird.
Well, part of the problem is the second unit. There's a lot of issues. This is why they're losing tonight against the Pacers, too. The second unit has a lot of issues.
Mm-hmm.
I like Ntilikina. I've liked a lot of what I've seen with him, but there's a lot he needs to work on. He needs to be more aggressive. We need an aggressive Ntilikina. He gives up the ball way too easily when he's dribbling down the court. He needs to set guys up. He needs to penetrate more. Like if he doesn't penetrate more, like you can't play point guard and just like pass the ball before you you can't pass the ball before you get to the 3-point line every time down the floor.
Right.
He gives it up way too easily. His defense has been really good, but he's too tentative on offense, and people don't respect his shot right now because he's barely shooting, and that's going to really hurt him. Especially he needs to drive the basket more. Michael Beasley needs to stop existing on Earth.
Well, maybe just on the basketball court.
Yeah. No, nothing personally to happen to him. But I think he needs to take 12% of his brain and go into like physics or something, some other field that does not involve him playing basketball for the Knicks. I don't know what he does in the NBA court. I thought in the second unit he would be a guy like he would be I thought he would be the
J.R.
type.
Smith.
The what?
J.R. Smith, just jack up a bunch of shots and get some points.
Yeah, but I thought he'd be like the alpha on this unit. I thought he'd be like, give me the ball, I'm going to take over. I've got the offensive skills. My defense may be mediocre, but I got the offensive skills. Let me like lead. Let the offense run through me.
The Dion Waiters.
All he does is you give the ball to Beasley. Is like, wait, hot potato. Give it to someone else. He barely wants to shoot. I've seen him pass up way too many shots. He's too tentative on offense. Also, he looks pretty mediocre. I don't know what Michael Beasley does. All his minutes should go to Damian Dotson right now.
Yeah, I can't really argue with that.
Dotson played a little bit in the second quarter in this game and looked great. He doesn't look like he's like, oh, this guy's an NBA veteran already. He's going to look like a rookie out there. He plays solid defense and looks like there's some developing offense there. He can shoot. He's a really good shooter. I like what I've seen from Dotson. I want him to play. I do not like what I see with Michael Beasley. I think I know what he is. He's like 8 years in the league. I think he's done. McDermott needs to shoot more threes. The second unit, I don't know. How do you fix the second unit, Jay?
It's like when the second unit's out there, it's like, no, you're right. There's no alpha guy. So like you need like, I think Hardaway or Porzingis out there with the second unit.
Yeah. Well, they tried that in the Suns game, I think it was, or the Houston game. Hardaway was with the second unit, but then Hardaway's too timid also. Hardaway, the same thing tonight against the Pacers. Hardaway too often defers or does not want to drive to the basket. Hardaway is going to be a better player when he learns he's got to be more alpha. He's got to take it to the basket a lot more. The more he does that, the better player Hardaway. The more he's going to be worth his money.
Yeah,
Hardaway can get to the basket. He can get to the basket.
Yeah, he can.
You need guys that can get to the basket. If you're going to play an offense where, I mean, you can rely on ball movement, you can rely on setting each other up, you can try to hit McDermott on some cuts, but you need a guy that can break down the defense. If you don't have that, it's going to be really tough to score.
Yeah, I don't see why Dotson doesn't get more minutes. He played 6 minutes against the Nuggets, and he had 5 rebounds and 2 assists. That's more production than we got from pretty much everyone except Cock.
He looks very decent. He looks like an NBA defender already. His offense has a little ways to go, but I feel like you could play him. Here's another guy I'm going to call for some more playing time for, and you're going to say I should not get playing time, but Lance Thomas should get more playing time.
Well, I mean, if it's a choice between Thomas or Beasley, I'm thinking Thomas should get minutes over Beasley.
Exactly. That's exactly what I'm thinking. I'm thinking basically it's Lance Thomas or Michael Beasley. At least Lance Thomas knows how to play defense, and he's not like he's not like the greatest defender in the world, but he's far and away better than Michael Beasley. And Lance Thomas actually has more of an alpha than Michael Beasley does. Lance Thomas sometimes says, "Here, give me the ball. I'm going to try to score," and then he just moves around awkwardly and does not score.
Yeah, then everyone's like, "Why?" But still.
Yeah, but at least he looks. At least he's Michael Beasley. I don't know what they're like. Hornacek needs to make these guys more aggressive, and he just said, "Beasley, you have to be more aggressive, or else you're not going to play." Like it just isn't. Anyway, so the third quarter happened, and the third quarter, the Nuggets also stepped up their defense like majorly. They were pressing. Ntilikina was Willie Barton was all over him. Gary Harris played really well. Like they played really well in that third quarter. I mean, was it 38? It was 38-19 looking at the box score. The Knicks just were getting pressed and didn't know what to do. They got like a 20-0 run by the Nuggets in that quarter.
Yeah, I mean, at least they pulled it out. But yeah, that third quarter, I would rather forget.
And then Timmy had a great fourth quarter. I think he scored all his points in the fourth quarter and helped the Knicks win the game.
Yep.
But anyway, it was a pretty exciting game. Moving on to the less exciting game, the Rocket game.
Yeah, I mean, this was a good Ntilikina game. I mean, he didn't shoot good. He was 1 for 7, but 8 assists and 5 steals.
Well, this was a good barometer for where we are. The Knicks are not yet a really good team. They are a team that should beat bad teams. They're not. They're nowhere near an elite team. Houston's an elite team. Houston just like.
Yeah, but I mean, we knew that. It was a reality check.
Yeah, it was a reality check. The Knicks also, they are still not doing a very good job of guarding the 3-point line. They're playing great. They're doing a lot of great team. They're playing not great. They're playing for the Knicks, the qualification. They're playing for the Knicks. They're playing pretty decent team defense. Guys are really giving effort. They're trying to be in the right place. At the same time, they overcommit too much on defense. They overcollapse. Too many guys are collapsing on guys, and they're just not doing a great job of covering the 3-point line. And I said, again, some teams it's working because those teams are just missing their shots. The Rockets were not missing their shots.
You know what I will say? Having the coach hold Cantor accountable for his defense has had an effect. Like he hasn't looked terrible on defense. I mean, he's obviously not a plus defender, but he's looked pretty much average, which is way better than he has looked.
What's the record for 3-point shots by an NBA team in a game?
Not sure why you think the Pacers are gonna.
No. I'm just looking like the Rockets shot 52 3-point. It's insane how many 3-point shots they're shooting.
Yeah, well, I mean, I believe they broke the NBA record last season.
I'm just saying, what's the individual game? Like, how many teams shoot 53 pointers in a game?
I've never seen. Yeah, that's got to be close to an NBA record.
It is just insane. They're doing this every game,
yeah.
And like, it makes you think. Also, they basically their style is either you shoot 3 or shoot in the paint or you don't shoot. Should the Knicks be doing more of this?
They don't have the 3-point shooters to do it.
No, they don't. But I mean, the Rockets shot for the game 36%. You shoot 50 shots, you shoot 36% from 3. That's pretty good.
Yeah.
Could the Knicks do that? You got guys, Porzingis, you got Hardaway, you got Jack, Courtney Lee can shoot threes. You got obviously got McDermott. Could we shoot more threes and actually? I mean, for the game, the Knicks were 8 for 26, 30%, a few percent below what Houston was shooting.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, I don't want to force it either, and the Rockets clearly force it to a certain extent, but they've made it work. Is this the future of basketball, where everyone's going to be shooting 53 pointers a game?
I think so. It's going to be 3-pointers and dunks.
Okay. So it'll be basically a video game.
You don't sound too excited about that.
No, I'm really not too excited about that. I'm not saying I really want the Knicks to do it. It's just like it's a weird thing that this is where the NBA is going, and the Rockets crushed the Knicks, and you're like thinking during the game, should we just be doing this?
Yeah.
I don't think we necessarily have the personnel to do that. I totally agree with you, and I like I like a lot of what we have developing here. I would like to see the Knicks. Knicks really what they need right now also is a 3. They need a small forward who's actually good. Would be a huge upgrade in this team.
Yeah, that's
Is there
definitely
any way-
a glaring weakness.
Is there any way the Knicks could really have a pretty decent season, come close to making the playoffs or make the playoffs, and still have the number 1 pick in the draft?
There is. I
'Cause
mean, the odds are very small, but there is.
Because that would work out really well for us. We could just get the 8th seed and still get the number 1 pick in the draft. So the Rocket game, the positives from this game, I thought this is a game I thought Dotson played pretty well, and Ntilikina played pretty well. Don't look at the box score. Ntilikina was like -14, but I thought he played pretty well when I was watching him.
Houston set the record last season with 61 attempts.
Wow, it's just crazy. By the way, there was I made some notes during this game, just briefly. The one thing I wanted to point out was actually, this is not a note about the game. Was that quote? Did you hear the KP quote about Kobe?
No.
He was saying, and just paraphrasing him, that basically he was talking about his 81-point night, and how Kobe said when he was at 50, he was at 60, he was just like, I'm going to get more. I'm not satisfied. I'm going to get more. I'm going to get more. And KP's like, this is how I'm going to play. He's like, that's exactly my mentality. I'm never going to be satisfied.
Yeah.
And I was like, this is great. And my other thing with the night is, I feel like Harden is such a goddamn dirty player. He makes the game so, like, he's both beautiful to watch and awful to watch. Like, on the one hand, it's like poetry how he basically, like, he just goes on the court, he sets his teammates up so well with his passes, or just goes to the basket. He's so hard to guard. At the same time, the way he purposely draws fouls is just, it's just awful.
Yeah, but I think that's more on the refs.
I know, but like the fact that like there was one play, I think Ntilikina was guarding Harden. I think it was Ntilikina. It might have been maybe Tim Hardaway. I forget who was guarding him. But Hardaway threw his shoulder into him. Like he's driving and just you see him on the replay just throw his shoulder into Ntilikina or Hardaway. Hardaway was guarding him, and the refs were like, okay, foul, and like Hardaway gets to go to the line. I mean, Harden goes to the line. I'm like, the guy was guarding you. He was at perfectly good coverage. There's no reason you should be allowed to throw your shoulder and draw the contact like that.
Yeah, no, I hate that kind of stuff. But
anything where I feel like if I saw this, if you were playing basketball with your friends and someone did this and tried to call a foul that way, everyone would laugh at you.
Yeah,
I don't want to see that in the NBA.
It's the star call though, because if it was the other way around, that wouldn't be called.
What do you think of just to get to him in my mind? Giannis Porzingis, Porzingis' brother, made comments about, the money's not everything for re-signing in New York.
I think he's basically saying, "Hey, let's get a 1 and a 3."
Yeah, well, he's basically saying I don't want to be involved in the circus. I want a competitive team I can believe in.
Right. Let's actually see a plan and see like progress toward that plan. I think that's basically what they're saying, which is fine. Because the Knicks usually don't have a plan.
At the same time, someone made this comment somewhere, I read somewhere, where they basically called out Giannis Porzingis as basically being E from Entourage. And I kind of feel like I feel like that's kind of it. He's managing him. Do you really think he knows what he's doing? Like, why would he be making these comments in the first place? Like the Knicks are off to a nice start to the season, and you're like, I don't know if he's going to resign.
Well,
Why
didn't he
you
say
open your
that like,
mouth?
when they were 1 and 3 or something?
I don't know. Why is he opening his mouth? Why are you opening your mouth at this point in the season? Like, what's the point? What are you benefiting of?
I don't know. Did he open his mouth or was he asked?
I'm sure he was asked. People ask questions. You could just say, I don't want to talk about this.
Yeah, he probably never got enough attention as a kid, and now he's getting attention.
He's E from Entourage. He just wasn't like he's like just talking because he has no idea what he's doing. Okay, so let's go to the Suns game.
So Porzingis is one of the best players in the league already.
Oh, Porzingis is amazing. He's
I
goddamn
mean-
amazing.
I mean, we haven't said enough about how crazy good he's been. He's third in the league in scoring, 29 points a game. He's been averaging about 7 rebounds. His 1 assist a game is the only thing I would like to see go up, but everything else has just been awesome.
He needs the big thing. One of my big annoyances with him right now is he doesn't pass out enough.
Or
Like,
almost
he gets-
ever.
What do you say?
Or almost ever.
Almost ever, to the point that it's like he's watched Carmelo and he's like, oh, I guess superstars just don't pass the ball when they're guarded by eight players.
Yeah.
Like, he needs to pass the ball out more. If he does that, he can hit. Everyone else is open. They have 3 guys on you. I mean, and Porzingis does an amazing job of hitting some of these shots, but he really needs to pass the ball out a little bit. That will make a huge difference in the Knicks' offense. That, and I feel like to a certain extent, when the guy when the guy KP's covering goes out to the 3-point line, KP does not always like guard the guy.
Mm-hmm.
Have you noticed this, or am I making this up?
But I mean, other than that, he's just been crazy good.
The Phoenix Sun game, he had the. Should we mention the craziest the one where he blocked the shot and then ran the other end of the court and like dunked it?
I think it was Paul. He sent us. Oh no, it was Rob. There was 3 different clips of Ewing doing something crazy like that, and then Porzingis doing almost the exact same thing.
Oh no shit!
Yeah, it's nice.
I mean, it was It was also new. Like, the Suns were trying to like make a comeback. It was the 4th quarter of the Suns game. 4 minutes to go in the game, and like, you thought they had something. Thought they had a shot, and it was like, nope, no shot. It was over. It was what was it? The guy who also we wanted them to draft. The guy, what's his name on the Suns? Jackson.
Yeah.
He had stolen the ball. He's running down the lane. He's running down for like a layup basically, and out of nowhere, KP blocks the shot, and then he's coming up the court, and Jack hits him, cutting the lane, and he just dunks it. It was great. The Knicks are doing the nice thing they are doing. They're hitting KP more in motion than before, and they're getting him also the ball. They're doing a better job with a point guard of getting him the ball in better position. If you can get KP the ball 10 feet from the basket, he's deadly. If you get him the ball 20 feet from the basket, then he's got to dribble and do something, and that's not good.
Yeah.
I don't need KP always trying to figure out how to like drive to the basket. I mean, just get him the ball near the basket, and he's going to be deadly.
It was George. I just tagged you.
It was what?
That Ewing Porzingis comparison.
Oh, okay.
So-
But what else do you want to say about the Suns game? The Suns, they have some decent young players. Booker and James look pretty good.
Yeah.
Well, James actually didn't play that well. now I look at James not play that well. I thought he played better than he did.
No, he didn't.
No.
I mean, I still miss Chandler.
Chandler had one throwdown where I was like, oh, Tyson.
I know.
Um,
But yeah, that was Hardaway is starting to develop a little more consistency. I put up I do a power rankings for the Knicks roster every week on our website, the NewYorkKnicksPodcast.com. And
and you got flack for this because you thought you put McDermott ahead of Hardaway, and one of our listeners pointed out that you're an idiot.
well, I pointed out that Hardaway played 4 games that week, and 2 of them he was terrible.
Yeah, but I think the listener made a good point that basically Hardaway was pivotal in us winning 2 of the games.
Yeah, but he was arguably
McDermott-
pivotal in
it's
our
not-
loss,
McDermott really, I think Hardaway contributes. I think Hardaway's a much bigger role in this team than McDermott. And McDermott,
I weighted toward expectations. If I'm expecting McDermott to get like 4-1 and he gets 12-5, then that gets ranked. You know what I mean? Like, it's based also on expectations, or else Porzingis is just
no, actually, I don't know what you mean. Your rankings now involve your expectations. So if Baker plays and scores 6 points, he should be the best player because you expected him not to play.
well, not that extreme, but yeah, I mean, obviously, I can't hold every player up to Porzingis' standards.
We have a caller. Our 10
Yes.
minutes. Hey.
Hello?
Hello? Noah?
How's it going?
Good. How are you doing?
Marc and Jay, how we doing? I'm
Good. Noah, so we're going to do 10 minutes with a diehard Knicks fan. Noah, introduce yourself, and then I'm going to start the clock.
My name is Noah. I'm from the great state of Mississippi, and I might be the only Knicks fan in the state.
Okay, I'm going to start the clock. I want to know,
of.
yeah, so why are you a Knicks fan in Mississippi? Please.
Well, I didn't want to let the geography limit me to picking a good team to follow. And long story short, I'm a big Chris Paul fan, and I followed him from the Hornets to the Clippers. And about 2 years ago, I was getting a little more mature, and I was kind of over the whole following players thing. And I said, I need to pick a team and stick with them for life. And
Wait, hang on.
At,
Before, can I pause for a second? You picked the Knicks 2 years ago?
2 years ago.
3 years ago or 2 years ago?
2 years ago. This was before about 2 months before drafting Porzingis.
Okay, fair enough. I'm just saying the team was coming off their worst record in their history, and you were like, my team.
There's nowhere to go but up.
That's fair. That's fair.
Buy low, sell high.
What made you? So
Absolutely.
what made you pick the Knicks?
Well, me personally, I'm big on tradition and history, and the Knicks aren't rife with tradition, but they've stayed pretty true to their roots. And but the history is there. They're one of the 2 original NBA teams. They played in the first officially recognized NBA game and scored the first NBA basket. And I love the uniforms. They've kept that blue and orange. They haven't done some desperate rebranding attempt. And of course, it's the Big Apple, which ironically I've never been to. I'm probably going to end up going sometime this year to try to catch a Knicks game. But, yeah, I just love what New York represents to this country and what it's represented through time. And, just all of that, it really
that's
spoke
awesome
to me.
Yeah. What do your friends say? I imagine you have friends who are also NBA fans. What teams do they root for?
Well, I'm about an hour and 15 minutes away from Memphis, and so a lot of Grizzlies fans. I go to Ole Miss, which is in Mississippi, and there's a lot of Atlanta people here, so a lot of Hawks fans, and so mostly Hawks, Grizzlies, and a couple Pelicans fans maybe.
What do people say about your choice of the Knicks?
Well, it's a little bewildering, but I've always kind of done my own thing, and I like, from a young age, I've never liked to, do the popular thing, and I don't want to like who everyone else is liking. I would never dare to have jumped on the Warriors bandwagon, or, I knew lots of Lakers fans and lots of people that followed around the Heat when LeBron was there, and it's just, I kind of like to do my own thing. And I really think people respect you whenever you pick a team like the Knicks, and when you stick with them, they're going to have success eventually, and I think people will credit you for that.
Yeah, no, I mean you bought as low as you possibly could have bought. So like anything positive, all the good moments that happen going forward, you could be like, I was there at the worst time. Like you get all the credit.
Absolutely.
Let me ask you.
That's the beauty of it.
You've been a fan for 2 years. What was
Right.
your best moment so far as a Knicks fan?
Best moment so far as a Knicks fan, it's really been a joy getting to watch Kristaps Porzingis play. He has been extremely popular since the time he came into the league. On college campuses, at parties, everybody wears jerseys. Jerseys are a big thing.
Yeah.
And I started seeing Porzingis jerseys everywhere. And, just being able to watch him, and, now he's really taken a leap. I can't say there's one defining moment so far, but getting to watch him has really been great.
No, that's fine. Do you think was Porzingis sent here from the future to dominate the NBA?
I think he was. I think he was sent here to show us how basketball is going to be played in the future.
I mean, because he looks like a future player. I mean, 7'3", and he can do all that stuff. He must be from like 50 years from now. And 50 years
He
from now,
might
the
be
NBA
a different plan.
So what do you think of the team so far this year?
So far this year, it started out pretty bleak, and I was not happy with the minutes that Frank was getting. I did not think he should have started at the beginning of the season, but I was really not happy with Frank's minutes or Dotson's minutes because I really knew that Dotson was capable of doing, some of what he did against the Rockets. He was really showing some poise out there, and but this team right now, I'm pretty optimistic about, and I really think that if we grind it out, I really think we could slide into that 8 seed spot. On the back of Porzingod, and I think that Frank's going to come around, and I really think that we have a good team. And believe it or not, I believe in Hornacek, and I think that he's making good decisions, and I think he's a guy we should definitely put our faith in, at least for this year.
I like that our coach has you say, believe it or not, I think he's good.
Yeah. Well, people always are quick to get down on the coach, and I think that, basketball is one of those sports where the coach typically does not make or break a team like it does in football. And so, as long as he's, principled and knows how to use the players, which he seems to have a decent understanding of, I think he's worth sticking with, at least for now.
Do you think the people have given a little bit too much criticism to the Hornacek, just because really last year he had Jackson's basically shadow over him and kind of like do my system. This is the first year Hornacek is allowed to like really coach the team the way he wants to. Should people give him a little more? Are people criticizing him too fast?
Yeah, I think that. I mean, could you imagine being Hornacek and having a team that's not very good, and then you got Phil Jackson breathing down your neck with this antiquated offense? I mean, he had to be so uncomfortable in that situation. But, he's former runner-up coach of the year, and I really do believe in him. I think that people are just too quick to get down on the coach. And, I definitely think I don't think he's going anywhere this season. I think we should definitely let him ride out the season and see what happens. But he seems like a good guy. The players seem to like him. And, I think he's the kind of guy that we could win with if all the pieces start falling together.
So I have a question for you. We have a looming crisis. Do you know what I'm talking about?
A looming crisis.
A looming crisis. Do you have any idea what I'm talking about? I'll tell you what I'm talking about. You only have a little bit of time. Noah, suspension's over very soon. What happens when he comes back? Because so far, we have a two-headed monster at center who has looked pretty decent between Cantor and Kyle LeQuinn, Cock.
Right.
Hernan Gomez has been fighting for minutes, and everyone has to say that it's hard to take Cock and Cantor out of the lineup. What happens when Noah comes back? What do you think? Not what you want to happen. What do you think will happen?
What I want to happen is I don't think we can move Hernan Gomez. I think he's got to stay, because he's one of our own, the guy that we drafted. And so there's definitely a loyalty aspect to it, and I think that there's a lot of value to that. Personally, I think Kyle Quinn would have some decent value. I think personally I'd move Kyle Quinn.
What do you think we can get from him? What? I don't need a name, but just tell me what level draft pick or what kind of player you think we can get from him?
I just want a decent 2 or a 3. I mean, we desperately need a 3 that's decent.
Yes.
I think there's a need. Somebody has a decent 3 that they could give us for a fairly solid center. I think he could start on some teams and be effective. But any 3 that we could get that's halfway decent, I'd be more than willing to hear that.
So you're comfortable giving Noah playing time when he comes back?
I would not say comfortable, but it's the only thing that makes sense.
Michael B.
Again, once you have the contract in place, I'm kind of the persuasion that once you have the contract in place, it doesn't really matter. I don't think we should have an obligation to start him and give him 25 minutes a game just because we're paying him. We're going to pay him either way.
I mean, I think they should change his jersey name. Instead of taking Noah on his jersey, just say Sunk Cost on his jersey.
Perfect.
Um,
Or Schmuck on the jersey.
we are running out of time with you. Let me ask you, going forward, what is there any changes you want to see the Knicks make as far as any player in particular, or just offensive changes? What do you want to see the Knicks do going forward?
Well, I like Jack starting for now because I think that there's a lot of leadership that he can provide Frank, and I think it would be hard to do that if he was on the bench and Frank was starting. So I like Jarrett starting for now, but I want to see Frank starting at least halfway through the season. And I think that Frank and Porzingod are the kind of guys you can build a championship team around. So I'm really excited for that. But nothing too drastic.
Michael Beasley. Is there any way we could send Michael Beasley to Mississippi and not have him come back?
Absolutely. I'd be more than willing to do that. But, he said it himself. He's on Kevin Durant's level. So I think he's just going to explode one of these nights.
I would love to see.
That's a joke.
I would. Yeah, I know that. But I would love to see what he's talking about. He's
right.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Where's that Michael Beasley?
Yes.
He's talking about.
Maybe he didn't finish his sentence. Maybe he's like, I am on Kevin Durant's level, and then the reporters went away, and he said, his level at playing Mario Kart. You should see me and Kevin Durant. I'm as good as he is at Mario Kart.
Exactly. I think you're right.
Noah, thank you so much for calling us. It's great to hear from any diehard Knicks fan.
Well, hey, can I ask one question real quick?
Sure, please.
What is y'all's goal for the podcast? Because I would like to see a day when the New York Knicks podcast comes on and the city of New York just goes quiet as everyone goes to listen to the podcast.
That sounds pretty awesome to us.
We would like that too. The thing is, we don't really know how to promote
or market.
Yeah, marketing, promotion, not really our strong suit. So we're kind of just relying on word of mouth, and that's it. So
which has been helpful so far.
It's been growing, but it's grown bigger than we ever thought it would. But
right,
there's still plenty of room to grow, and we just don't really know how to do that.
But having a vision or a goal would be a good idea that we should work on.
Yeah.
Right. Is there a bigger podcast for the Knicks? I've listened. Another big one is Locked On Knicks with James Marcita, and personally, I don't really like his podcast. So that's how I found y'all's. Is I listened to a few of his, and I was like, this isn't cutting it. So I found y'all's.
We appreciate it.
Absolutely. Is there another New York Knicks podcast that?
Not that
I think there's 3 or 4, but I don't really. I'm gonna be honest. I haven't listened to them, so
yeah.
I don't know. The thing with podcasting is unless they're backed by somebody huge, you have no idea what their numbers are.
If you download ESPN Radio, they'll have some of their shows. Some of them will talk about the Knicks. You can find some content on their podcasts if you're looking for more Knicks content.
Right.
Okay. Do you have a Twitter, Instagram, or anything you want to plug?
I don't think so. I really appreciate y'all scheduling me, and I really hope to see y'all take the podcast to the next level. If I get any bright marketing ideas, I'll have to send them over.
Let us know.
Absolutely.
Okay, well, thank you for calling, and we're going to go back to the show, but we'll go back to other stuff, but thank you very much.
Great. Thank you, guys.
All right. Take care, man.
Bye. Take care. Jay, what are we going to do about Noah?
Another successful call.
That was a great call.
Speaking of Noah, Luke Ambrose wrote a really good Noah article that's up on our website.
Yes.
The NewYorkKnicksPodcast.com. So we're starting to get a little bit of content. People are writing stuff. I add stuff once in a while. So you can check that out, the NewYorkKnicksPodcast.com. We have Knicks Podcast t-shirts. I am still waiting for these pens to show up so I can add them to the shirt orders. So
holy crap, your pens!
There's a couple of shirt orders that are on hold, so I apologize for the delay.
Just send out the shirts. The pens. No one cares about the pens, Jay. No one cares.
If you want your shirt and you don't care about the pen, email me, nyknickspodcast@gmail.com. The post office.
Please do me a favor. If you're ordering a shirt, please send Jay a message and tell him you don't care about the pen. I want Jay to understand that this is the dumbest idea possible ordering these pens.
Well, apparently the post office cares about my pens because they stole them. They sent me an email at 1 p.m. on Saturday saying they were delivered. At 1:30 p.m., I went to my lobby and they were not there. I really doubt somebody ran in and stole a bag of pens in the half hour between that.
Maybe someone stole them. Maybe someone was like, "Score! I got."
I mean, you would think if they stole the pens and found it was for a podcast that they may or may not have listened to, they would put them back.
What if someone's holding them ransom? What's the most you'd pay if they get them back?
Well, then they're the worst ransomers ever because they didn't contact me about how to get the pens back.
If you've stolen Jay's pens, can you call him to the show?
nyknickspodcast@gmail.com. 10 minutes with a pen thief.
10 minutes with a pen thief. Yes, we would like to do that. We'd like 10 minutes with a diehard Knicks fan, but 10 minutes with a Knicks. Yes, we will bump anyone for the pen thief. Jay, so what should we do about Noah? What do you think the Knicks should do?
I think he should get a couple minutes when he first comes back, and if he's as washed up as I think he is, then that's it. He gets no minutes forever.
I mean, we had a rookie last year who was first team. I mean, a very weak class of rookies. When he was first team rookie class, or first team rookies, Hernan Gomez, he is fighting for playing time. He's a guy we want to develop, but he has trouble getting on the court because Kyle Quinn and Cantor are playing that well. Noah should be fighting for minutes. It should not be a given that he gets minutes coming back.
Well, if you look at the minutes breakout, Luke wrote this in the article. Cantor's playing about 24. Kylo Quinn is playing 16. That leaves, 8 minutes?
Yes, at least like 8 minutes.
So Noah should get 8 minutes max.
Max. I mean, but the thing is, the problem he's going to say, and people are going to say, is that he's not going to be able to get a feel for the game. He's going to need to screw us, play 30, 40 minutes of a game. He's going to need 20 minutes of a game, really, to get back his feel for the game.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just don't see Noah being a major contributor going forward. I don't see him doing more than we're getting out of Cantor and Kyle Quinn.
No, I don't either.
I feel like this is one of those things where, whatever the reason you weren't playing, you lost your job while you were out.
Yeah, it happens. I mean, Baker looks like he lost his job while he was out.
And most people don't lose their job still getting paid $17 million a year.
No, but it was dumb when it was signed. I know some people on Twitter say he was paid market value, but he wasn't.
I mean, whatever. There's no point in arguing that anymore. But either way, he has a contract that, even no matter what you think of that then, at least now, you think it's kind of stupid that he's getting paid that much money.
Yeah. Emails.
What were you going to say?
Emails.
Oh, by the way, is Kuz getting cut or is Sessions getting cut?
Kuz is gone.
Yeah, Kuz has to be gone.
Because
do you feel any remorse that Kuz is leaving? Or not remorse, but do you feel bad at all? Because do you feel like we're missing out in any way?
No, not really. The thing is, the Knicks are still really thin at point guard, and if Jack or Ntilikina gets injured, then Sessions is going to get minutes.
Yeah. Someone's going to get injured also. That's also going to solve part of our sentiment. One of our 4 centers will be injured. I mean, it'll probably be Noah.
Right.
But one of our centers will be injured, and that'll solve some of our issues at center, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Kuz, do you think if Kuz gets cut, does he stay in the NBA?
No.
Yeah, I don't think so either. Emails.
Ray writes, I just thought I'd take the time to tell you how much I appreciate your podcast. My name's Ray. I'm from Southampton, small city on the south coast of England, and long-suffering Knicks fan. I've had the pleasure, misfortune of visiting MSG on multiple occasions for Knicks and Rangers games. Also a big Giants fan. I'm definitely suffering this season. Rangers and Giants haven't managed 2 wins in a row yet. Who'd have thought the Knicks would have managed it first? Well, at least you've seen some championships in your lifetime.
Oh, and Knicks are coming back a little bit now, and Porzingod just had a nice dunk. Go on.
NBA coverage is so hard to find in the UK. We get about 5 live games a week, and for some reason they don't like showing the Knicks. Plenty of LeBron and Curry to head scratcher. That's annoying.
That's annoying. If you live in England or Australia, anywhere not US, and you will say you want to follow the Knicks, is there not a way where you could get all the games?
I mean, I guess there's got to be a site that streams it.
Because if there's no way that you could stream MSG or something else, the team you want, then that's a market that's not being tapped.
Yeah.
Because that's really like, sign me up, MSG. I'll go tour Europe and sell this.
And
I
if
probably
somebody
won't
makes
actually do
millions
that.
of dollars off of that, we'd appreciate a little bit of a cut so we could take the podcast to the next level.
I mean, because that really, like, there are so many fans out there from other countries that I'm sure would pay whatever price it is so they can watch, like, their team.
Right. People here pay for League Pass for like $100 a year, $200 a year, whatever it is. Like, I'm sure people in other countries would do the same.
I mean, there's no way to. I understand. Like, actually, I don't understand because you have internet. You could stream the thing over the internet. There's no reason you can't pay for watch the game in Australia or wherever else. If you're a big Knicks fan in Kazakhstan, and I'm sure there's one, that guy should be able to stream the games.
Yep.
Please, someone listen to us and cut us in for some royalties or something.
I have to make do with 5-minute game highlights. I also work early mornings, 2 a.m. starts. Your podcasts have got me through some shifts at work. I've got to say, it's so refreshing to hear your views, thoughts, analysis on the games. The mainstream media are too afraid to beat on the Knicks and Rangers. You guys tell it like it is. It's my only real source of Knicks updates. I'm very new to your podcast, and I just want to say we got a big fan from across the pond. I'd be happy to donate to help your podcast Patreon. Once again,
How do people donate to Patreon, Jack? In case they don't know.
if you don't know, it is patreon.com, patreon.com/NY Knicks Podcast. And there you can become a Patreon. It's a big button on the top right, and basically you can subscribe for as low as $1 a month. It's basically you're donating toward the podcast, helps us with podcasting fees.
If you remember, like Sally Struthers used to say, for the price of a cup of coffee, you could help those starving kids in Ethiopia. Well, it's not Ethiopia, we're not starving, but same idea.
Right. I mean, if everyone who listens gave us $1 a month, we would be able to do some advertising and marketing and,
Cool
make the
stuff
show
to get
really
to the
grow.
next level.
Yeah. Right now we're about $10 short of breaking even, which would be
But
nice to do.
we'd love the donations. If you don't, but no need to do it either. We like doing the show either way. So, but
yeah, I mean, we're gonna do the show either way. We're not putting anything behind a paywall. The show is still free. Nothing changes. It's just, if you're like, hey, I would like to contribute, that's how you do it. And
Jay,
eventually, we might, when I'm done with my CPA, we might do a bonus episode here and there through Patreon. But the regular, it will not take away from whatever content we're providing right now.
yes. By the way, the Pacers look pretty good right now. Also,
Yeah.
Unfortunately, and they're beating the crap out of the Knicks right now. The comeback I was talking about. Now they're back up by 16. How do you feel about the Paul George trade? Everyone said the Pacers got ripped off. They look pretty good right now.
Yeah, I mean, Oladipo is putting up better numbers than George, and Sabonis is looking very good, actually.
Sabonis looking like a beast. He's a huge issue for the Knicks tonight. They look pretty good. I've noticed a lot of these trades aren't working out. Like, they aren't the ripoff. Like, speaking of the Melo trade, people said the Knicks got garbage in the Melo trade. I'm pretty happy with the garbage we got.
Yeah.
I'm feeling pretty. I feel like we got, for what Melo's giving Oklahoma, Cantor, McDermott, and a draft pick seems pretty fair value.
Yeah, I would say so.
How do you feel about the fact that Phil Jackson didn't give a crap about what return he got basically for Phil? You could argue whatever. He seemed like he cared more about getting rid of Melo than the return he was going to get, and it seems like Perry stepped in and at least got us a nice return for Melo.
He was so out of it. He was so washed up by the time he was president. It was just a shame.
I mean, it was kind of ridiculous that he didn't really care about the return. I mean, that's one of the good things that like we had. I'm glad Perry made the trade and Phil didn't. I mean, it sounded like he would have taken Ryan Anderson back, or I don't know what. By the way, Ryan Anderson also smoked us in the Houston game. So it was like Ryan Anderson was just mad at the Knicks for all that talk about not wanting him.
Yeah, but Ryan Anderson's only good if you have a penetrating point guard and he could stand at the baseline and jack up threes. Like, he doesn't do anything else.
No. I mean, I don't. I like having I mean, not that Cantor and McDermott are the greatest thing ever, but it does seem like we got solid value now.
Yeah,
Melo.
I'd much rather that than Ryan Anderson. Adrian writes, can the Knicks cut Sessions to keep Kuz? I think Kuz would be great if any injuries were to occur.
I don't think Kuz will be that good. I just don't. I saw him last year. I know he might have gotten a little better. I don't see it, and I feel like you really can't cut your point guard depth right now.
I mean, I said it before. The point guard, we only have 2 point guards playing right now. So if one of them gets injured, we're going to need Sessions.
I also feel like if you look at the team, Knicks are now down by 8. Porzingod just hit a 3. We're closing in.
Mm-hmm.
So why does ESPN say? ESPN says we have Knicks have 8. What am I? I guess I'm watching. I had the game going on my phone. It says Knicks have 80 points, but on ESPN it says they have 82 points. So I don't know who's right here. But I think the screen. I think my phone is a little bit. I'm watching on my phone. I think the phone is like 20 seconds behind ESPN. So Knicks should be scoring 2 more points right now. Yeah, I also feel like who has to get injured? Now it's 82. Who has to get injured in the Knicks to get Kuz playing time? Because right now they're playing. Right now you're going to play Lance over him. You're going to play Dotson over him. You're going to play McDermott over him.
Yeah, I mean,
a lot of guys.
Yeah, you need multiple injuries.
You need a lot more injuries. Versus you're right. You need one injury. If Jack or Ntilikina, God forbid, gets injured, Sessions plays.
Yeah.
It's not like you can go like, oh well, we have Baker, because no one's been that impressed by Baker so far. And we're all kind of like, oh, we did that.
Yeah.
With his contract. I like Baker to a certain extent, and maybe he can develop. I also, as far as Baker, and if the Knicks play competitive the whole season, and Baker and Hernan Gomez, they don't play as much this year, I'm not going to be that frustrated at the fact that the team looks they can't get playing time because the young team looks pretty good, too good to get them playing time.
Right.
And maybe they can learn from that, and they can play harder, and they can improve their game by being on a good team. I don't know.
Yep. Peter writes, am I the only one struggling with Hornets X rotations thus far? I'm all for trying different things, especially this early in the season, but it's been really weird so far. Either Dotson or Thomas play big minutes or nothing. Same with Willie and Beasley. It just seems particularly bizarre that guys' minutes are either one extreme or the other. Let me know how you feel about this. I think it's. I think he's playing to what he sees as matchups. So if he thinks that, Willie can bully a smaller center, maybe he puts Willie in, or maybe he thinks there's a quicker center that Willie can't keep up with, so he doesn't play him at all. I think he's looking at individual matchups, which is something that other coaches we've had have not done. So I kind of like it.
I mean, I also think to a certain extent, some nights you have to say you can't play everyone. You want to get guys playing time. Some nights you have to say, I'm just going to give Beasley and see what happens, or I'm just going to give Lance Thomas some extra playing time tonight, more so than he had the other night. You can't give both them. You're much better off giving Beasley. I mean, I'm not Beasley. I mean, Beasley's terrible, but you're better off saying I'm going to give a guy like Beasley 10 minutes instead of splitting 5 and 5 or something like that.
Yeah.
Can't play a rotation of 11 guys. You have to just make hard choices sometimes and just see how it goes. And hopefully when you're doing it one game and then the other game, one of these guys stands out enough that the other guy's not going to get playing time anymore. So hopefully Dotson plays well enough that eventually we just don't want, or Lance Thomas plays well enough that eventually that Hornacek just says, I'm not going to play Beasley anymore.
Yeah.
Because I feel like at point guard, but Jack and Ntilikina played well enough that he's just like, I don't need to play Sessions anymore. I don't need to play Baker anymore until these guys prove they can't play.
Jorge writes, if this promo lasts all season long, will Papa John's stock plummet even more? They have a promo where you get 50% off regular price pizza every time the Knicks score over 100.
Oh, wow, they screwed up.
Yeah.
Holy crap. They're probably making that, and then they're like, have you seen the Knicks? There's no, we're fine doing this. We can make it 95 and still be fine.
Yeah, so basically half off pizzas all season.
I don't know. I mean, what point do you think they're losing? What is the pizza? How much is the pizza? Like $10?
Yeah.
$12? The pizza's got to cost them $3 to make? They're still making some money from it, even if it's half off, I think.
Yeah, but I feel like with half off pizza, then people are like, oh, this is so cheap. Maybe I'll order breadsticks or soda. I feel like they make it back on add-ons.
You're saying a $100, if not billion-dollar company knows what they're doing?
Right.
Yeah, maybe they know what they're doing. We don't know how to get our podcast. We don't know how to get people to listen to our podcast. They know how to get people to buy terrible pizza. So I think they know what they're doing.
Yeah, going back to that, since it is word of mouth, anytime you retweet us or share us on Facebook or write reviews on iTunes or any of that stuff, it helps.
Yes.
We figured that part out.
You know what actually helps? I think if you subscribe, I think
Yes.
that's supposed to be a big thing.
Yeah.
I heard somewhere that a very big thing in our rankings on iTunes is that if you hit subscribe as opposed to downloading each episode individually. So if you could hit subscribe, basically every time a New York Knicks podcast fan hits subscribe on their feed, an angel gets their wings.
Right. Even if you listen to it through some other means that you don't listen to it through iTunes, subscribing on iTunes helps.
What we're saying is, find your mom's iPhone. She doesn't care anyway. Hit subscribe on her phone as well.
Right.
Okay.
Osiris, right, this is Twitter now. NY Knicks Podcast on Twitter. For your pod, there are 4 more games until Noah's back. We got to waive this guy, right? If he even takes a minute from the cock, WTF.
I mean, waiving him seems like an extreme because you're paying him so much, but I feel like he can, like... I mean, this is what he does in practice. He's going to be back in the team. He's going to have to practice. He'll get some... We can put him in games maybe the Knicks are playing a lot better. Not like a tight game, but maybe a blowout.
Mm-hmm.
And then let him work his way back slowly. He's going to be really rusty anyway.
Yeah. That is it for Twitter. We are also NY Knicks Podcast on Instagram. I try and post on there a couple times a week. And you got the Facebook questions up?
Yes, I do. Jeremy writes, combined with our young players developing throughout the year, what else would the Knicks need to do in order to become attractive to free agents? I'm going to say, Jay, there's an obvious one here. 2 words. The first word starts with a C, and the second word starts with an S. See if you can get it. Developing young players, we need to be attractive to free agents. We need this word. The first word is 3 letters. Do you want to try to guess some letters here? You want to play a little Wheel of Fortune?
Cut?
It's 3. Nope, not cut. First word is 3 letters. It begins with a C. The second word is 5 letters. It begins with an S.
Cat
SP. Cap space. Yes, we need cap space. If you can't pay them, they're not coming here.
Yeah.
And we're not getting cap space anytime soon.
Right. It would be nice if we could go 1 season without signing an embarrassing contract.
Yes, but I think the big thing is getting out of some of our contracts and everything else just developing. Holy crap. You will not believe what Lance Thomas just did. Lance Thomas just drove to the basket and dunked. He looked like a man. He looked like the Lance Thomas we dream about.
So, also, if you're wondering why I have Hardaway ranked so low, he's shooting 5 of 14 with a plus-minus of -11 right now.
By the way, Ntilikina just had a great steal. The Knicks they might come back. He's playing. By the way, we didn't point out also Ntilikina just shoots a 3. If he hits it, yes! Down by 3 points. 92-89. Knicks might actually come back and win this game. That would be amazing.
So, Porzingis.
You gotta figure out how to scream to watch have the game on also.
Yeah, I'll have that set up for next episode. I could do that now.
But we didn't point out also in the Houston game, Ntilikina had 5 steals.
Yes.
That was kind of crazy.
Porzingis, over 30 points in 7 out of 9 games this season.
Does he have 30 tonight?
Yeah, he has 33 tonight.
Holy crap.
Oddly enough, the 2 games he didn't score over 30, he scored under 20.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, it was like 17 or 18, but still.
Yeah, I mean, Porzingis has taken. Why is Porzingis so much better this year? How much is it like Melo being gone, like the extra ball movement, or him like we're saying you're the man now? Like what is it about? Why is Porzingis taking it to the next level?
Well, I think he's also put in a lot of work. He was posting workout videos all summer. He studies the game a lot. He said he watches tape like all the time. So like he puts in the effort. Like some people slack off over the summer and work their way into shape. Like he was trying to get better every day. I mean, he's got 5 blocks tonight.
Holy crap! And he also, and you think about it, in the EuroLeague, he was the man. Like on this team, he was the guy. Like they were like you like he was like the alpha on the team. And so he's kind of learned. I think he studied under Melo. That probably helped him to a certain extent. And now he knows it's his turn to be the alpha, and he's really turning it on.
Still 0 assists today.
0 assists. He's got to learn how to pass the ball. That would be huge. But I mean, it's absurd to talk about MVP right now. But
he was getting
wow.
MVP chance last game.
I mean, it is
Sorry,
ridiculous that you do that like 7 games into the season. But he's playing. I just hope he keeps this up. The level he's playing at is just insane.
We haven't seen this since Amari's first season in New York. So it's been
Amari had that stretch where he had 30 points a game. Like, was it 10 games in a row?
Yeah, so it's like 7 years since we've seen anything like this.
Yeah, I mean, it's just he's playing so efficient. He's doing everything. It has been. By the way, Ntilikina's defense has been great. I mean, just not to underrate it. Like, he just does these little things on defense, which just makes it harder for the other team to shoot, and it's great.
And he's always
crap.
He's got long arms, and he's always jabbing them into the passing lanes to make people second guess, hitting cutters and stuff. It's nice.
Yes, yeah. I really have to. I really appreciate his. KP is like, it's absurd. I feel like he's like, going forward, I cannot expect the level of consistency he's having. Because at some point, like, he'll be less consistent going forward, and we'll have to live with it being like, what were you hoping for the season? Like, if he was averaging 22 and like 8, would you have been said like, oh, it was a pretty good season for KP?
Yeah, absolutely. I think before the season, that's about what we said.
Yeah, he was averaging 18 a game last year, I think, around 18 a game. I would have been totally fine if he went up to 22. I thought he was going to be a little over 20, and then we get other points elsewhere. I didn't think he'd go immediately to almost 30 points a game.
35 points and 6 blocks, and there's 5.5 minutes left.
Wow.
Facebook questions?
Yes, we have a bunch of them. We're almost done. I'm a liar. What is the in-house goals for the Knicks? Where the management want to be at the end of the season? I believe it was a developmental year, and we would look for a good pick in the draft. But in the earlier stages, they actually look at times like an actual NBA team. Do we want to try to compete and possibly, unlike to try for the 8th seed in the postseason? Obviously, players like to win, but what is the organizational goals? And this is a very good question. I feel like I keep hearing people going, people keep saying, "Oh, we're the people that wanted to tank now," and no one wants to tank now. No one wanted the Knicks to tank with a good team. But it's a weird thing because we thought the team would be horrible. What do you think the goals are, Jay?
I think the goals are playoffs. I mean,
we're down by 1 point. Hardaway just went to the basket. It's 1 point, a 1 point game. Oh, come on, they got to win this.
So if the Knicks win this, the worst they can be 10 games into the season is 500, which is, they're gonna try and make the playoffs.
They should try to make the playoffs. This is what you want. I mean, I think we said before the season, like, if the team is bad, you want them to be really bad. But if the Knicks are playing well, then, like, if you have a bunch of young players playing well, then, like, great. Like, win a bunch of games. Like, we'll deal with having a lower draft pick. Like, it's fine.
My coworker was asking me that, and I was like, well, if we're going to get, like, a 8-9 pick anyway, we might as well just make the playoffs. Like, it's a crapshoot after, like, the top 5 picks in the draft anyway, so we might as well try and make the playoffs if we're not going to be miserable.
No, there's no one watching the Knicks right now who's a fan who's saying that I wish the Knicks would lose these games. Here's the thing, like, I am a big Jet fan, and the Jets are playing, they're 4-5 now, they're winning way too many games, and I kind of am rooting against them because I know where the Knicks with Jets are. They have some young players that are playing well, but we need a quarterback really badly. The offseason is going to happen, and the Jets are still not going to have a quarterback. It's going to be so frustrating. The Knicks, like, they have some good pieces right now. KP's playing insanely well. You can't root against this. You have to right now. You have to be so excited the Knicks are winning.
Exactly.
No one is rooting from the tank right now. Dow writes. Dow writes. We actually have developing nucleus of real NBA team. Please outline in excruciating detail how the Knicks will mess this up for us. I'd rather know than wait for the jump to scare.
Well, we all know when it's going to get messed up. In 4 more
Noah
games.
comes back?
Yeah, absolutely. This team, I'm calling it now, this team goes on a massive losing streak as soon as Noah comes back.
JR's on the line. JR just hit the line, hit his shot. Game is tied.
Eamon agrees with me. He says, completely agree, Hardaway is so bad. I hate how he literally keeps shooting from 3 off balance and always misses.
I think what I see with Hardaway, I think I see a player that could actually be really good. In my mind, he is not that far away from being a really good player.
He could be,
gets
but
more
he's not.
aggressive. I feel like he gets more aggressive. We're going to be very excited about. God damn it! Okay, was that a 3 or a 2? Please let there be a 2.
All right, keep going.
Okay. Sorry, I'm trying to. I'm trying to do what's more important. Watch the game. Yeah, you know how we're gonna mess this up? Yeah, the Noah thing sounds pretty good. Injuries are probably gonna happen. That's what's really gonna happen. Foot was on the line. It's 2 points. Knicks are down by 2. Okay. Frank writes, as of right now, Bledsoe is still a Sun, and the longer he sits, the lower his trade value becomes.
And the
He's
worse my
OD.
fantasy team is.
Oh my God. Any updates? Anyone from your fantasy die this week?
No, but Josh keeps trying to trade Courtney Lee for Eric Bledsoe.
Okay, don't do it because I don't want anything bad to happen to Courtney Lee.
He keeps saying, like, Courtney Lee had 10-3, and I'm like, that's not good. He's like, more than what Bledsoe got.
Okay, so Bledsoe's owed $15 million this year and next year before becoming a free agent. What do you trade for him? I trade Willie and tell them they need to take Noah in a salary dump. The numbers work, and I think they have devalued Bledsoe to the point that they can't reasonably ask for Frank back in a trade. Not only can Bledsoe better mentor Frank than Jack, but his salary would come off the books a year earlier than Noah, and really, who cares if he wants a max deal? We obviously don't have to offer him anything when he becomes a free agent. Thoughts? So let's just say I feel like the Suns won't do – they're not going to do Noah and Hernan Gomez. But maybe they say – what if they said –
They already have like 3 centers, including Tyson Chandler.
Well, it's Chandler. They want a young center to develop. Len looks like crap. Chandler's too old. Who's the third guy?
It's like Seacom or something like that. I don't know. He looks like garbage.
They want Hernan Gomez also. They were asking for Hernan Gomez.
Mm-hmm.
So what if they said Hernan Gomez? They'll do Noah, and then the third thing has to be the Bulls pick, which is like the 32nd pick in the draft, 33rd, depending on how bad the Bulls are. Would you do that?
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow. You should have seen the shot Porzingod just hit. Holy crap. Yeah, I would say that would. Do you worry at all that would mess up the chemistry? Bringing in I'm insane. Bringing a guy. Bledsoe's pretty good. I mean, I would happy to bring Bledsoe here for that kind of. I would trade Hernan Gomez, no problem. If I get Bledsoe back.
I think the only problem is does Porzingis get really pissed?
Yeah, that is a problem. I mean, do you feel bad at all that? I mean, is there anything about you saying like, "Hey, Hernan Gomez still could have a very bright future, and we're giving him up for 2 years of Bledsoe"?
No. I mean, like, I'm not as high on Hernan Gomez just because his defense is so bad right now.
And do you worry at all that getting Bledsoe means less playing time for her? Oh, that was a charge. KP took a charge. Knicks are up, by the way, by 1 point.
Nice.
Do you worry at all that that Bledsoe would mean less playing time for Ntilikina?
No, I think it would just mean less playing time for Jack.
Yeah, that's probably true. Dan writes, I believe this episode is 400, so congrats. Also, during the Rockets game, Frenchie really impressed me with a solid D on Harden, despite not thinking he will pull up from 4 feet past the 3-point line. When does Horny give him the nod to start? It is funny. I mean, who's going to guard if Harden's standing like 5 feet from the 3-point line? You almost have to give it to him because it's just so far away.
Yeah.
Do you think he's starting anytime soon?
No.
Knicks are down by 2 now. I don't think he's starting. I think they're going to be comfortable with him playing the 20 minutes he's getting off the bench right now. Like I think him being the second point guard on our team is probably what it's going to be for a while until he really proves himself.
Yeah.
And I'm kind of okay because he's still getting a decent amount of playing time, and I'm not. I mean, do you worry that if we just gave him the reins too early, it might hurt him?
No, I don't think so. I just think he's just not ready.
Yeah, I mean, it's fair enough to just say he's not ready. I don't want to do you think there's ever too much of someone gets too much, it kills he starts and he becomes bad, it'll kill his confidence? Do you worry about that? But Milky, by the way, he's playing major fourth quarter minutes right now also. So the Knicks obviously are putting some pressure. They're right now, he's in the game with 2 minutes to go in the game. So obviously they're putting a lot of faith in him.
Yeah,
oh my God! Ntilikina just hit a 3-point shot to take the lead.
Nice.
Sorry.
We're almost out of time.
Okay, let's go fast. Okay, Francisco writes, did you know that Hardaway has a 15% trade kicker? Do you think Frenchie can be the next Gary Payton? I did not know Hardaway has a trade kicker.
Of course he does.
God.
Every
What?
bad contract
We
we
just
sign, we do add something even stupider on top of it.
Can he be the next Gary? I don't want to compare him to players like that. I mean, Gary Payton's an all-time great. I'm not going to compare him to Frenchie to them. You agree?
Let's settle down a little bit.
Yeah. Matt writes, do you think that Chandler is right in saying that Porzingis could be the greatest of all time? I'm not convinced, but I think it's possible. To me, a champion is a player who can score when the team absolutely needs it, and there are times now when it seriously looks like the opposition can't stop him. It's pretty good having an unstoppable scorer playing for the team. Jay, I'm going to say the fact that question is even being asked is amazing.
Yeah. I mean,
Okay,
just the fact that it's asked is good enough.
Matt writes, also, it seems to me like there's going to be another golden age in the NBA. I think the last one was the 80s and 90s with Jordan, Bird, Magic. Now there's KP, Giannis, Simmons. It feels like another special period in the league might be coming. It must be coincide with the 400th podcast. Congrats, by the way. Any thoughts?
Thank you. It could. I feel like some other guys are going to have to take a leap, too. I feel like for a golden age, you're going to need like a lot of. I mean, look at the '80s. You had 5 Hall of Famers on the Lakers and Celtics at the same time.
I'm gonna interrupt you. KP is now the 3rd youngest Knick ever to score 40 points in a game.
Oh, he did it.
Yep.
He was saying the other day he was kind of annoyed leaving the game with 37. He wanted to hit 40.
Gilliam writes, do you still think Cock is worth a 2nd-round pick? Cock apology.
I think he's worth more than that now.
Yeah, I think that's what he's saying. I think he's saying it's just worth a 2nd-round pick. Yes, we apologize. I like what I'm seeing with Cock. I want to see more Cock. I don't want to trade him right now. That's how much I feel, how good I feel about him right now.
Yeah.
Knicks just stole the ball. Oh my God, they might win this game. Holy crap! If he makes, oh my God, Hardaway made that shot. Gilliam writes, this team is the most exciting Knicks team since. Knicks are up by 5 now with a minute to go.
I mean, the 54-win team, or maybe even more.
Yeah. That. I mean, you can't say like that team was super exciting.
Yeah.
You can't say this team is more exciting, but this is a fun team. Gilliam writes, if you haven't read this, go read it. Knicks finally getting KP on the move, according to Zach Lowe. Zach Lowe made a good point about how the Knicks are finally hitting KP when he's moving, which has made a big difference. Like getting him when he's moving in traffic is a big thing.
Mm-hmm.
Paul Wright, I thought Gilliam had another question. I have a comment that was a pretty. Gilliam also writes, would you rather have Cantor and McDermott or Sabonis and Oladipo? Being who got the better return in this trade, the Paul George trade or the Carmelo trade? I don't think this is. I feel like I feel like if the Pacers got a better return.
Yeah.
Oladipo was a good defender.
Yeah.
I feel like you have to like.
Yeah.
You can't like Oladipo like our team would be a lot better if we had an Oladipo right now.
Right.
Jason writes, Paul writes, at the game now, is it bad? I'm rooting for Collison because he's on my fantasy team. Yes, that is bad.
No, I do the same thing.
Again, it's the Knicks. Come on. Oh God, Lance Thomas. I think he got fouled though. Did he get fouled? Please tell me he got fouled. Paul writes, think you've done this for a past season, but F, marry, kill from current Knicks roster. I guess I'm going to marry Porzingis, Jay.
Yeah, I mean, that's the obvious one.
I'm going to kill Beasley.
I'm going to kill Noah.
Yeah, that's pretty good, actually. I'm going to kill Noah. What is it in NBA? What is F? What am I doing to this player?
You're effing him. Who do you... I mean...
Oh, okay. I don't know what this means with NBA terms.
I think that's like
how about getting rid of him for a night? How about getting rid of him like marry you, keep him long term? F him means I just want him for one night.
Right.
I don't know. I'm going to move on with the question. Jason writes, are we winning a championship this season?
No.
Jason writes, how you feel if Porzingis got injured?
Sad.
I feel pretty bad.
Probably devastated, actually.
I'd feel goddamn awful. If he just had a Gordon Hayward moment, I would just be like, that would be the worst podcast we've ever done.
It would be 400th and also last episode.
By the way, 11 seconds to go. The Knicks are up by 5 points. They're going to win this goddamn game. Holy crap.
5-4.
Jason writes, can Porzingis end up being a top 3 best player in the NBA? That's a good question.
I think he could.
Well, I mean, we're assuming like not this year.
No, I'm not saying this year. I think about it. The guy's, 22?
Yeah, I mean, the stuff he's doing also, like, we kept talking about his potential in past years. Now we're actually seeing everything we're talking about. We're like, holy crap. And we still talk about things that he's not doing. He can still pass the ball. Like, that one thing is a major thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he got his assist today.
He could actually be better. He's playing right now. That's all our questions, Jay. Knicks. Okay, the Pacers have the ball. It's 11 seconds to go in the game. They're down by 5. They just shot a 3, and they missed the 3. This should be over. The Knicks are dribbling it out. They're not. They did foul Courtney Lee, but the Knicks are up by 5 with 3.5 seconds to go in the game. The Knicks have won. They were getting their butt kicked by the Pacers, and they won this game. The fourth quarter. The Knicks are up 35-17 in the fourth quarter right now.
It's a good time to be a Knicks fan.
The Knicks are about to be 5-4, above 500 in a year when we were contemplating, would the Knicks have the all-time worst defense in the history of the NBA? The Knicks are about to be 5-4.
So, 40-point game on our 400th episode.
Wow. KP owes us a shout-out.
I think we need to take credit for this.
Oh, crap. That is crazy. He's exactly 40 on our 400th episode. It would have been crazier if he did 400 points, but that would have been... I can't believe I wouldn't even notice that. Wow. And look at these. Cantor was a plus 20 on the game. Cantor had 18 rebounds today.
Yeah, that's insane.
Holy crap. Knicks won the game. Game's over. 108 to 101. Wow. And Ntilikina, by the way, we're talking about Ntilikina, like, as much as we're talking about when Ntilikina will start, tonight Ntilikina was the crunch time point guard. In the fourth quarter, Hornacek had his choice. Does he play Jack or does he play Ntilikina? And he said, Ntilikina is our best option to win this game.
Mm-hmm. So
I love what I see from Ntilikina so far. He had 10 points tonight. Looks like 10 points, 7 assists. He looked great. Like he's very active on defense, and he was hitting some shots tonight. Also, I think 10 points might be his career high. Not quite as impressive as a 40-point career high, but wow, I love this team. Anything else to say before we sign off?
No, that's. I think we couldn't have ended this any better. So thanks for listening, everybody. We'll be back next week, episode 401, and hopefully 400 more episodes to come.
Yeah. By the way, for episode 800, so episode 500, Porzingis will get 50. For episode 600, he'll get 60.
Mm-hmm.
So episode 1000 should be interesting. Watch out, Wilt.
All right, thanks for listening, everybody. We'll be back soon.
My love. Goodbye, everybody. It's all over. It's time to go. This is the end. Say goodbye.